Welcome back. The Trump administration is moving forward with a plan that could drastically curb legal immigration in the U.S. It's called the Public Charge Rule, and it would base a person's citizenship status on their merits and contributions to the country. The Trump administration says people who have a skill or trade would fare better under the rule compared to those who rely on public assistance like food stamps.
I am tired of seeing our taxpayers paying for people to come into the country and immediately go on to welfare and various other things.
Now, the president's plan is set to go into effect next month. It's already facing lawsuits from counties in New York and in California. And Sergio Gonzales is the deputy director of the Immigration Hub. It's a group of Washington staffers and officials who act as immigration advocates. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
We know it's clear that the Hub does not agree with the president on his immigration policy. So what is fair? I mean, and that is what the Immigration Hub fights for. So what is fair immigration policy in your mind?
Sure. Well, one, I would just like to say what was announced on Monday is, obviously just another attack in a very long kind of string of attacks by this administration against immigrant communities. And it's really unfortunate that the administration put forward this rule after the raids that they carried out in Mississippi, which resulted in many families being separated from their kids and the chaos that resulted from that. And then from the El Paso shooting, where a deranged gunman was inspired by the president's rhetoric around immigration and his xenophobic immigration policies. So in terms of our position, I think that our position is very much in line with where Coloradans are at on immigration, which is, we want an administration that is actually putting forward solutions that benefit our economy, that keep families together, and that really represent where Americans are in terms of our values and our history on immigration.
And how do you know that your values are in line with Colorado or where the U.S. is right now?
Right, sure. Well, so I would say as a native, Coloradan and somebody who grew up in the state, I think that I've talked with people on the western slope around immigration. I've talked with immigrant families who live in Denver and immigrant parents who have kids in Denver public schools. This issue is an issue that has a really particular and profound impact on this state in particular. Not only because there's a large immigrant population in Colorado, around 1 in 10 Coloradans are immigrants, but also because of the huge economic impact on Colorado. Whether you're growing peaches on the western slope in Palisade, or you are, you're a cattle rancher, or you are working in Boulder on tech. These areas of our economy really rely on immigration to succeed. And immigrants also pay a huge amount of taxes in Colorado. So this really does have a profound impact on this state in particular.
So where do we find balance? Because clearly, people are on way different sides on this issue. So where do we find balance so that we can all come to a peaceful resolution? I know that's the million-dollar question,
Sure.
right?
I think unfortunately what we've seen since Donald Trump began running for the presidency, right, when he announced his candidacy for president, it was by attacking immigrants and referring to Mexican immigrants as rapists and murderers. And since that time, he has continued to use this issue to rally his base and to politicize the issue for his own, political purposes. And I think what we really do need is we do need people to come together on actual solutions, right? On providing a fair pathway to citizenship for the nation's 11 million undocumented immigrants, ensuring that our agriculture economy and other parts of our economy are able to get the labor they need, especially low-skilled worker. What we saw in Mississippi, and which is true in Colorado, is immigrants are doing a lot of lower-skilled jobs that are lower pay that other Americans simply won't do. So we do need to find common ground on this issue again, and I think it's really difficult to do that when you have a president who is using the kind of language that he's using regularly on immigration.
Well, and I think you're right. People do want to find common ground, and they want to find it soon, because this is clearly an issue that is so pressing for all of our states. But let me switch gears for a moment,
Sure.
because I know you were a Columbine survivor. You were at Columbine, and so gun issues are top of mind for so many people right now. So just let me ask you personally, where do you stand on gun issues after having gone through a tragedy like Columbine?
I think it has been over 20 years since Columbine, which feels very hard to believe in a lot of ways. In fact, the 1999 class just had their 20th reunion, and not long after that reunion, we had the shootings in El Paso and in Ohio. And unfortunately, we've seen this issue become a complete epidemic across the country. And I think as somebody who went to Columbine, I'm really sad by that, but I'm also very angry because there has not been more that has been done.
Yeah.
I mean, in Colorado there has been, but nationally, and I'll be just frank, Republicans in Congress have not been willing to come to the table and do anything sensible on gun legislation.
Do you think they will now? There is a lot of pressure right now.
There is a lot of pressure, but so far, whether it's been on immigration or it's been on the president's rhetoric and statements that he's made that have been racist, we've seen Republicans time and again, including Senator Cory Gardner, who have not done anything to hold him accountable. And so while there is always a conversation about, and I think people always talk about and float ideas of like working together in terms of Republicans talking about, well, maybe there's ways we could work together, they never actually follow that with action. And so, I really hope, as somebody who experienced this myself, and I would also like to point out, there was a study that was done, over 230,000 students have experienced some sort of gun violence in schools since Columbine.
Yeah, it's certainly senseless what is happening. Yes, thank you so much, Sergio Gonzales
Thank
from
you.
the Immigration Hub. We appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
Back in a moment.